My name's Bridger Christian. I'm from Missoula, Montana. I just was doing like a normal cleaning basically, and someone mentioned, oh, you might have some signs of sleep apnea. How do you want to talk to Wendy and get it checked out? I kind of had always felt like I got pretty good sleep. My dad had actually dealt with sleep apnea before too. So I decided to go get the sleep study test and figure out if it was something that needed to be addressed. Honestly, I think it's kind of interesting because I didn't really have a lot of limitations. I certainly would feel very tired in the morning. Getting to work was somewhat difficult, but beyond that is a lot of the questions that are asked are things like, did you fall asleep when you were driving, or things like that. And, I never had any issues like that. I've also done a little bit of reading about how better sleep can help your mind in all sorts of ways, including reducing risk factors for things like dementia. And as an attorney, I do a lot of guardianships and conservatorships and things like that, so I'm always keenly aware of making sure that I'm on top of my physical and mental health. I wanted to look into it and see if it might be something that was affecting me, and it turned out that it was. Honestly, I didn't really think that I would show up as having sleep apnea just because, I have like a Garmin watch and I always get pretty good sleep scores. So I was honestly pretty surprised when Joe told me, hey, you've got some signs of sleep apnea, you might want to get that checked out. I was like, oh wow, I never have thought about that as something that I might want to look at. Right now, I just use the appliance. It's just a little mouth guard. It's got little like winglets on the end of it. It's almost like if you look out the plane's window and you see the wing goes up, it's pretty much exactly what it is. They just hold your jaw a little bit forward. And for me, because I didn't have severe sleep apnea or anything like that, the goal really was just to keep my jaw from falling backwards, because my understanding is that what happens is that when you fall asleep, you relax your muscles, including your muscles in your face, and your jaw falls back, and that causes your airway to constrict. The second night, I started to feel like, wow, this is much easier to wake up in the morning, constantly waking up like before my alarm now, and I have that feeling of like, oh, wow, I'm able to kind of just like bounce right out of bed. Where in the past, I would say that because, as a lawyer, I have kind of a little bit more of a flexible schedule where I don't have to always be to work right at 8, so it's a lot easier for me to sort of take liberties if I'll get there at 8:30 or 8:45 or something like that. But honestly, now I find myself getting there at like 7:30, 7:45, which is kind of fun because I can tell that people are slacking a little bit on when they get to work. Especially in my line of work, you really get all of the actual work done either before 8 or after 5, because during the day, it's just phone calls and people interrupting you and stuff. So it really helps me with stuff like that, where I'm able to kind of take the quiet moments in the morning and either think through a case or deposition line of questioning or something like that. Like, clients are getting better service because I'm able to take those earlier moments to focus on their matters a little bit more thoughtfully. I have had this thought many times throughout my life when people are like, well, I don't really want to go into the doctor. And it's like, well, it's not like you're not going to have the thing. You're not going to know how to treat it. I understand that it can be somewhat intimidating. People think of these sleep studies, and I think a lot of times it's pitched as you stay overnight at a place and you've got wires and all sorts of things coming out of you and you're being checked on by a nurse 4 times a night. But that isn't at all what happens at Sleep Better Montana. What happens here is that you basically get a machine, everything's sanitized, it's perfectly hygienic. You bring it home with you. Wendy shows you how to set the whole thing up, and you basically just get some sleep and then bring it back the next morning and then have a meeting to discuss it and get your diagnosis, and then you try to figure out the best way to address that. And so, like I said, for me, that was the mouth guard. After you've used the device for a bit, you take the sleep study home and you sleep again with the retainer actually in your mouth. And so you're able to actually see the data of, okay, I was at 7 apneas per hour, and now I'm at less than 1. So it really is working. It's not just kind of all in my head that I have this thing that I'm doing and it's some placebo effect or something. That no, you actually are kind of solving a problem, and that if you were to take the test for the first time, you would actually not have sleep apnea at all. So like I said, I'm a person that likes to sort of see results and watch things over time. And so being able to watch that play out throughout the process was very enjoyable and something that I found very informative. But no, as far as someone thinking about doing it, it's not scary. It's super helpful if you have sleep apnea to get it addressed. Everybody wants to have more energy. I don't know that there's anybody in the world that would say, I love that feeling when I'm just super exhausted in the morning. There's nothing better. I crave it. It's like everyone wants to wake up and have energy and be excited about tackling whatever problem they have in front of them in that day. And so I would say just do it. It's not a big deal. And you might learn that you have no problem at all, or you might learn that there's something to be fixed. And if there is, there's nobody better to do it than Wendy.